A very good morning to all of you. Myself Supriya Mollik, one of the conveners of the webinar today. Respected Director Sir, all the eminent personalities from different universities, TIC Sir, HODs from all the departments, dear colleagues, research scholar, dear friends and students, on behalf of organizing committee, it is my privilege to welcome all of you to the webinar on role of library in teaching and learning in higher education. Hope all of you are well during this challenging time of COVID-19 pandemic. We all know library play a pivotal role in education. The true learning begins from here. Learning is a process which cannot be described by mere few words, but it is perpetual. It is multidirectional, and more one accepts it, more he or she can realize why the mankind is the best creation of God. It was like an unending voyage, starts with the birth till one breath is last. Due to the pandemic situation, we are incapable to access library physically. Now, hope is the best word to keep ourselves live and indeed hoping everything will be normalized very soon and we will return to our normal life amidst record-breaking peak of COVID patients every day. So at present, we all know that library is the heart of any academic institutions as like human beings. If the heart of the any academic institution shuts down, there will be a big crisis in teaching and learning process of any academic institution. So, based on these apocalyptic times, we have chosen a topic which can keep our heart alive and can enlighten to all of us. So, on this platform today, we will be gaining and gathering knowledge from the eminent personalities and scholars in the field of library and information science. They are going to deliver their invaluable speech for the specific topic of today's webinar. The respected personalities are Dr. Biplav Chakraborty, Professor, Department of Library and Information Science, University of Calcutta; Dr. Mohammad Shariful Islam, Professor, Department of Information Science and Library Management, University of Rajshahi, Bangladesh; Dr. Nivedita Bhattacharya Sahu, Assistant Professor, Department of Library and Information Science, Vidyasagar University; Dr. Barnali Roy Choudhury, Assistant Professor, Department of Library and Information Science, Netaji Subhash Open University; Dr. Subarno Kumar Das, Professor, Department of Library and Information Science, Jadavpur University. It gives us immense pleasure to invite our honorable speakers on behalf of the organizing committee of this webinar. Thank you all for accepting our invitation to deliver a lecture on role of library in teaching and learning in higher education. Hope we all will be enriching from their thoughtful deliberation and speech. And now I am happy to hand over the microphone to Mr. Mintu Haldar. Sir, please.
Thank you, Dr. Supriya. A very good morning to all of you. On behalf of the organizing committee, I'm Mintu Haldar, Joint Secretary of Info-Lib Academia. Cordially invite you all in the webinar on role of library in teaching and learning in higher education. Webinar is organized by Info-Lib Academia in collaboration with Moyna College. This is our 13th webinar. Today's topic is very pertinent. Our honorable speakers enlighten us with their thoughts. Already Dr. Supriya discussed in this program, the name of the resource persons are already discussed. Now I inform the participant. A question answer session will be there after the deliberation of all the speakers. All the participants are requested to write your question in YouTube chat box. We inform the participant that the feedback link will be provided in the YouTube chat box. You can download the certificate from moocs.infolibacademia.in. Thank you. Now I handed over the microphone Dr. Supriya Mullik. Over to Dr. Supriya.
Thank you, Mr. Haldar. We are a bit saddened with the news that Dr. Songram Kumar Dolai, the chief patron of the webinar and GB president of Moyna College, cannot make today's program for some unavoidable assignment. Though he has sent best wishes to us, thank you, sir. And now it's a joyous moment for us as we have Professor Kalipodo Maiti with us, the patron of the webinar and teacher in charge of Moyna College. I request to our TIC chair to deliver the welcome address. Sir, please.
Thank you, madam. Good morning, everybody. I am feeling very excited to address such a wonderful audience present in this platform in spite of remaining in distant places. This is the challenge of post-COVID pandemic world to continuing exchange of knowledge among the people staying in different places. This webinar has been intended for active and interactive participation among the learned resource persons and other fellow learners. This is a collaborative effort of our college and Info-Lib Academia on role of library in teaching and learning in higher education. In modern age, library include a huge amount of e-resources along with a good collection of books. This may be the key to transforming knowledge among the students at present situation. It is our privilege to welcome Dr. Biplav Chakraborty, Professor, Department of Library and Information Science, University of Calcutta, as well as Department of this webinar. Director of this webinar. Though Dr. Sangram Kumar Dolai, President of our college, is not present in this, could not join this program today, but I welcome him. He is the chief patron of this webinar. May I welcome our distinguished speaker, Dr. Suborno Kumar Das, Professor, Department of Library and Information Science, Jadavpur University. May I welcome Dr. Sheikh Abul Salam, Librarian, Shivpur Dinabandhu College, and our speaker. May I welcome Dr. Bornali Roy Chaudhary, Assistant Professor, Department of Library and Information Science, Netaji Subhash Open University, and eminent speaker of this webinar. I welcome Dr. Nivedita Bhattacharya Sahu, Assistant Professor, Department of Library and Information Science, Vidyasagar University, and speaker of this webinar. May I welcome Dr. Muhammad Saiful Islam, Professor, Department of Information Science and Library Management, University of Rajshahi, Bangladesh. His presence make this program of different level. Finally, I welcome all participants of this webinar and of course the joint convener of this webinar, Professor Mrinmoy Kumar Mahato, and IQAC coordinator of our college. I wish this webinar a grand success. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir, for your information message. Now I hand over microphone to our respected sir, who is the main mastermind in this webinar series and who is the director as well of this webinar and also chairman of Info-Lib Academia. We all know the name of this person is Dr. Biplav Chakraborty, Professor, Department of Library and Information Science, University of Calcutta, who is now a renowned person at national and international level in the field of library and information science. There are many number of recognized academicians have been involved with him either mentoring or supervising of them in the country or in abroad. So we all are blessed with his presence. Thank you, sir. Sir, please continue with the session.
Thank you, Dr. Supriya Bolli, for a good appreciation to me. Though I don't feel for that. But however, uh, good morning to all who are present here. At the outset, respected the president of the governing body of Moyna College and the chief patron of this webinar, Dr. Songram Kumar Doloi, respected the teacher in charge of the Moyna College and patron of this webinar, Dr. Professor Kalipodo Maiti, Professor Suvarno Kumar Das, Department of Library Information Science from Jadavpur University, Professor Shariful Islam, Professor of the Information Science and Library Management of Rajshahi University from Bangladesh, Professor and Dr. Nivedita Bhattacharya of the Department of Library Information Science of Vidyasagar University, Professor Dr. Bornali Raichodhuri of Library Information Science Department of Netaji Subai Open University, Sri Mintu Haldar, convener and joint secretary of the Info-Lib Academia and librarian of the Huluk Ganguly College, Dr. Supriya Mollik, convener of this webinar and librarian of the Moyna College, Dr. Sheikh Abul Salam, librarian of the Shipur Dindugon Institution and another convener of this webinar, Professor Mrinmoy Kumar Mahato, coordinator IQC of Moyna College, and a joint convener of this webinar, teacher colleagues of Moyna College, executive committee members of Info-Lib Academia, and dear participants. At the outset, I must convey my gratitude to the authorities of Moyna College and especially the organizers of this webinar, international webinar, for inviting me to act as the director of this webinar, and which is organized by Info-Lib Academia and Moyna College collaborative basis. I am happy to be present here because a number of eminent personalities in the field of library information science are with us, who will address the main theme of this topic of this webinar, that is the role of library in teaching learning in higher education. And they are from the different corners of this subcontinent, three from India and one from Bangladesh. They are the members of the faculty members of the different universities, Jadavpur University, Vidyasagar University, Netaji Subai University, and Rajshahi University. So already we have heard that the pandemic situation has started in our country, or rather in our subcontinent, from the very early of this year, due to COVID-19 crises, but due to COVID-19 virus crisis, we are facing serious challenges. The academic institutions are suffering a lot. The libraries are not working properly. The teaching and learning our process is also being hampered. So a very critical situation is going on. But as we have to overcome the situation, because we don't know when it will be ended. So, so we have to overcome, and the process of the accommodation, adaptation, and integration which will be taking place in our mind, behavior, and on that basis, we will be doing according to that norms. So, so we have to say that that the mobility, that means the mobility from one type of action to another type of action are taking place in our the mind. So so that we are ready to adopt, or rather we have to adopt the new type of situation. New type of situation has to be adopted because of the crises which are going on, and on the basis of the adoption, we and though the online services are taking places, because but we know that this the online process, online teaching, learning, and services are taking place in the country as well as in the world many years ago. But this COVID-19 situation has given us to act or to do on that way or on that direction expeditiously. So, there is a tremendous effect of this COVID-19 crisis in our educational sector also. So, so as the physical existence and the formal or informal interaction between the teacher and the students are not functioning in proper way, and it is very much impossible in the current situation, in like that of earlier times. So we have to move or we have to switch over from one system to another system, and we have to adopt the online learning systems. Rather, we are very much compelling to adopt such online system and online services from the library to the users at the same time. So before taking such a system, that means by adopting such system, we can say that there is a serious drawbacks. There are a number of problems are there. Serious problems are there, like that of crises of the digital devices, crises of the fund, crises of the students attendance, crises of the skilled personnel, and a number of factors are there. A number of issues are there. So from the part of the teachers and from the part of the students. So role of library in teaching learning in higher education, what they can play by offering online educational resources to the users. Maybe a major, maybe an important part, may play an important part rather in the present situation. So, but in that case also, how that can be accessed, what are the problems in there. So there should be also be discussed, because everybody in our country, all we are very much ignorant because of the rural population, because of the illiteracy, because of the below the poverty level situation. A number of problems are there. So all these problems will be discussed by our eminent speakers elaborately. I can't discuss much more. Everybody is waiting for the listening the speech of the eminent speakers, and we have with us from the international speakers also. He's from Rajshahi, Professor Islam. Shariful Islam. So I first invite our neighboring countries citizens, the friend, beloved friends, Dr. Shariful Islam, to deliver his address first. So I invite him to speak English. Please.
Thank you, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, audible, audible.
Dr. Mintu Halda Dada, please play my PPTs if possible.
Okay.
Thank you, Professor Biplab Chakraborty, sir, Honorable Director of today's international webinar. The webinar is being jointly organized by Info-Lib Academia in collaboration with Moyna College. Honorable Patron Professor Kalipodo Maiti, sir, Moyna College. Distinguished resource person Professor Dr. Subarna Kumar Das, sir, Department of Library and Information Science, Jadavpur University. Dr. Barnali Rai Chaudhary, Department of Library and Information Science, Netaji Subhash Open University. Dr. Nebidita Bhattacharya, Department of Library and Information Science, Vidyasagar University. Dr. Sheikh Abul Salam, Dinabandhu College. Conveners Professor Mrinmoy Kumar Mahato, Dr. Supriya Mollik, Mintu Haldar, and participants from India, Bangladesh, and other countries. Very good morning to all. I will talk on how does academic libraries support teaching and learning in higher education. I will highlight about concept of library, relationship between library and education, role of libraries in learning, role of academic libraries in higher education, new scenarios of academic library, and finally recommendation for the development of academic library. The next please, next. Okay. We all know libraries fundamentally next library is fundamentally an organized set of resources which include human services as well as the entire spectrum of media, that is text, video, hypermedia, etc. Libraries have physical components such as space, equipment, and stress media, intellectual component such as collection policies that determine what materials will be included, and organizational scheme that determine how the collection is accessed, and people who manage the physical and intellectual components and interact with the users to solve information problems. Now, relationship between library and education. Next, please. Education cannot exist on its own without a library support. The next please, next. Education cannot exist on its own without a library support, and a library is redundant if it cannot pass on education. In terms of educational benefit, the academic libraries are fully and comprehensively equipped to meet the varying demands of the students and teachers for their references, research on all subjects that form part of their curriculum. Academic library is the vital component which develops the teaching, learning, and research activity. Academic library is the intellectual workshop where information is made available to the faculty, students, scholars, and scientists. Also, effective teaching cannot be imparted without a strong academic library consist of core and qualitative collection. No university can develop and produce a standard academic work without a strong library. Hence, the academic library is regarded as the heart of the academic institution. Next. Now, I will discuss about role of libraries in learning. Libraries serve at least 3 roles in learning. First, they serve a practical role. in sharing expensive resources. Physical resources such as books and periodicals, films and videos, software and electronic databases are shared by a community of users. Human resources support instructional programs by responding to the request of teachers and students, that is responsive service, and by initiating activities for teachers and students, that is proactive services. Responsive services actually include maintaining reserved materials, answering reference questions, providing bibliographic instruction, recommending books, and teaching users how to use materials. Proactive services include current awareness service, selective dissemination of information to faculty and students, collaborating with instructors to plan instruction, and introducing new instructional methods and tools. Next, second, libraries serve a cultural role in preserving, organizing artifacts and ideas and make accessible to future learners. In addition to preservation, libraries ensure access to materials and assist learners to locate items appropriate to their needs. Third, libraries serve social and intellectual roles in bringing together people and ideas. Libraries provide a physical place for teachers and learners to meet outside the structure of the classroom. In many respects, libraries serve as centers of interdisciplinarity places shared by learners from all disciplines. Digital libraries extend such interdisciplinarity by making diverse information resources available beyond the physical space shared by group of learners. Next, what are the role of academic libraries in higher education? Next, academic libraries are playing significant role in providing a good education and knowledge of high quality. Individuals around the world can access whatever knowledge and information they require by visiting libraries via the internet. Due to the impact of tremendous advancement in computer and communication technologies, the perception, approaches, and techniques of teaching and learning has been changed gradually. With the advancement of digital technologies, the role of library and librarian in higher education has been widely expanded and changed to cope up with the techno-driven world. Hence, the entire system of education as well as academic libraries have to keep pace to fulfill the standard of quality education. Next, there are following key roles of academic library in promoting teaching and learning in higher education. Leads in bringing institutional effectiveness. To achieve the prime mission of any institution, academic libraries identify and develop such outcome which leads towards bringing institutional effectiveness, which ensure the continuous improvement in every requisite facet of institutions. Enhance professional values in users. Libraries bestow professional values among users by defining work for censoring resources, protecting rights of users of keeping their privacy as well as confidentiality, supporting institutional integrity, applying check on plagiarism through policy and education. Next, as educator, libraries educates user through various ways, like train them with different techniques for retrieving required data and efficient searching of scientific information, effective use of internet. Library provides all kind of record tools and supplements for best teaching in classroom, help in designing online tutorials and such type of several activities. As a space, libraries give a platform to intellectuals for interacting with each other, sharing their ideas within the physical boundary and virtual surroundings, safely and securely to extend learning and facilitating new innovation
and ideas. As knowledge manager,
libraries makes available different kinds of quality
and latest resources in different formats, that is
print, digital and electronic, to strengthen teaching
and other prerequisites of an institution. Next, as personnel, a good number of skilled staff is available to ensure excellence among academic fraternity by providing continuous help and support to meet their diverse teaching and research needs. Libraries are committed for overall pedagogical development in parent institution by developing, maintaining, and enhancing skills and knowledge of every professional. Strengthen external relations. Libraries engage the campus and broader community through multiple strategies in order to advocate, educate, promote their values. They continuously make efforts in developing external relations through communication, publications, and different events. Next, now the new scenario of academic libraries. In the 21st century, academic libraries explore service developments to support a series of new scenarios, promoting open educational resources by identifying, discovering relevant scholarly web resources and getting these resources available to user community through a user-friendly information gateway. New publication and scholarly communication scenarios, more intensive use and delivering of digital resources, serving increasingly heterogeneous student population, continuing high demand from student and teacher for additional
resources as well as digital resources. New modes
study including ICT based and distance learning, with which libraries have had little involvement in the past. Finally, now I would like to recommend some points for the development of academic library in teaching and learning in higher education. Develop a well-balanced, user-responsive collection meant for faculty, students, and scholars. Provide resources necessary for research in the field of special interest to the university. Provide library facilities and services necessary for the success of all the formal program of instructions. Provide a link between the user with the treasure of knowledge for sharpening
intellectual curiosity. Facility of providing documentation service expeditiously, especially to the teachers and the researchers. The teacher will motivate the students by giving assignments and seminar topics for constant use of the library. The teacher may find it beneficial to consult the librarian for his requirement for study and research. Next, the library should undertake user education program at least at the beginning of the session for the newcomers or freshers of the university. In case of large number of readers, this program can be executed by arranging lecture programs by the library staff. Make available information about resources through handbooks, brochures, and web pages. Simultaneously, the readers may be benefited if they will be provided with a copy of library guide or Know Your Library. This is my last slide, that is concluding remarks. Next please, Dada. The role of academic library in higher education is much more important, since academic library is considered a prime requirement in university education. The entire academic and research process is fully dependent on library network. It can be summarized the role of academic library in the words as the academic library is the heart of academic education, the heart of higher education. Method and fashion in education change from generation to generation, but each generation uses the academic library as a means of academic pursuit. A quality education actually is impossible without a quality library. Last but not the least, an academic library is a vital organ for proper exploitation of intellectual resources in higher education. Next and last, thank you all for listening me. Thank you Moyna College and Info Academia Lib, and thank you Biplab Chakraborty sir for inviting me. Thank you very much sir. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Shariful Islam, for your informative speech within a short span of time. You have maintained the required or the specified time as given by the organizers. I think this is a wonderful attempt made by you, because you have justified your comments by giving the idea on the basis of the thrust area role of library in teaching learning in higher education is a commendable one, because the concept of the library and the role of library in the learning process and relation between the library and education, whatever it may be, in the case of cultural, social, intellectual, and other sphere of life, and ultimately the role of the academic libraries, how the library can play in the higher education sector to lead to the institutional effectiveness, to develop the professional values in the users, to play as an educator, space as a knowledge manager for building personal and strengthen the external relations among the society, and initially whatever maybe but in the 21st century the development of the library as a provider to develop and to create and provide services to all educational resources, digital resources to the student population. So your recommendation is also is given by you that well balanced user responsive collection should be there. Necessary resources should be there in the library. Library facilities and services also should be enhanced, and there is a link between the treasures of knowledge. So documentation services can be provided. Motivation should be given given priority to motivate the students population and other users of the library. Education programs and should be provided, should be there to make available information resources about the different subjects, different aspects of life to the users. So what you rightly stated, that academic library is the prime requirement in the higher education, and the last point, that library network is very much essential, very much necessary in this regard. So thank you for your informative within a short speech. I again convey my thanks to you. Now I do invite Professor Dr. Nivedita Bhattacharya Sahu of the Department of Library Science of Vidyasagar University to deliver your lecture.
Thank you so much, sir. And indeed, good afternoon to my respected teacher, the webinar director of this particular international webinar, Professor Biplab Chakraborty, the chief patron, Dr. Sangram Kumar Doloi, the GB president of Moyna College, teacher in charge, Professor Kalipodo Maiti from Moyna College, the patron of this particular seminar or webinar, we can say, and the conveners, Dr. Shukriya Mollik, my student too, the librarian of Moyna College, and Professor Mrinmoy Kumar Mahata, the coordinator, IQAC of Moyna College. And also my co-speakers, Professor Shubharna Kumar Dash, Professor Mohammad Shariful Islam, and Dr. Bornali Rai Chaudhuri. Indeed, a very good morning to all of you, and it's my privilege to talk in this august presence of so many intellectual persons. And indeed, I am very much tensed also to speak before my teacher, in front of my teacher, and in front of my students. So let me first share my PPT. I'm sharing my screen with you. Is it visible? Is it visible?
Yes, yes, visible, visible.
Okay. So in this particular webinar, I'm going to speak about the libraries as the facilitators in teaching and learning in higher education. So this is my topic for today. And my previous speaker has already said many of the things, or has covered many of the things very nicely. And indeed, it was a very great speech to listen from him. But I am going to share some of my ideas regarding this. And the very first beginning, in this very first beginning, I am going to share one of the sayings of the father of Indian library science, Dr. S.R. Ranganathan, about the libraries. The libraries, he said, are not mere storehouses. They are rich springs from which knowledge flows out to irrigate the side field of education and culture. So such was the definition, or we can say the quote unquote, for the libraries from the eminent personality, Dr. S.R. Ranganathan, who is the father of Indian library science. So let us see what is higher education, or what is the scenario of higher education at present. At present, India's higher education enrollment is calculated in terms of the gross enrollment ratio, or GER, we can say, which is the ratio of the population in the 18 to 23 age group to the number of people enrolled in higher education. According to the All India Survey on Higher Education, India's GER was 25.8% for 2017 to 2018. And this in effect means out that the total population in the age group of 18 to 23 in India, 25.8% attend college and university. So you can think of that is what is the Indian situation here. There are many international personalities over here also. So I'm going to share the Indian scenario first. That what is the Indian scenario? See, what is the percentage, or only 1/4% people, they attend the college and the universities in India. The researchers have suggested that instead of gross enrollment ratio, India should look at eligibility enrollment ratio, which is the ratio of eligible population, those who have at least passed class 12 in the 18 to 23 age group, to the number of people attending the college. Actually, the researchers in many of the papers, while preparing this talk, I was going through many of the papers, and what I found is that many researchers, they suggested that gross enrollment ratio is not appropriate to measure, because they said that eligibility enrollment ratio is more appropriate as measuring metric. Its enrollment rate in higher education will increase to 64.9% for 2017 to 2018, bringing it at par with the developed countries. Actually, what is mentioned over here is the eligibility enrollment ratio is those persons, that is those who have at least passed class 12. They are only coming to the higher education sector, that is to the colleges. They are enrolling themselves to the colleges or the university. After that, the universities. So it has been noticed that the gross enrollment ratio is not the appropriate measure, but they have said that instead of that, we can claim that we have to claim the eligibility enrollment ratio in that case. According to the AISCE, the higher education sector in India consists of 3.74 crore students across 993 universities, 39,931 colleges, and 10,725 standalone institutions. So this is the scenario of India in Indian higher education sector as per the AISCE report 2019. Now, this is the graphical representation of the number of universities, that is 993 universities are there. Standalone institutions are 10,725 institutions, and the colleges, that is 39,931 colleges. Now, this is the all India profile that has been depicted from, has been collected from the survey report of 2017 to 2019. As you can see from here, that the population 2011 census, that is male population, you can see 62327028, female is like that 5875847179, and the total population you can see like this. And from that, what you can see here, that literacy rate, they are claiming that males 80.90% they are literate, and female, that is 64.60% they are literate. The total is 73%. And students enrollment, they have seen that 52.41% are enrolled, male members are enrolled, and females, that is 47.4959% they are enrolled. And gross enrollment ratio, as you can see, that is 25.8%. So, and the foreign enrollment, students enrollment, that is also depicted here, that female and male depiction is there, and the total is 46,144. So this is the total scenario of India profile, or we can say the Indian scenario of higher education. And this higher education, we can say that this is not a very lucrative look, we can say. We can say that the higher education sector, that is not many people are going into the higher education path, basically. So what is the main objective of the higher education now? What is the main objective? So first, that is the first objective of any higher education is the quest for excellence. Actually, whatever we are learning over the years, whatever we are searching and whatever we are meeting up, that is, we are doing it for the excellence part, and that can be achieved only once we enter into the higher education scenario. And second is, that is the human resource development. This is also another thing. That is, we know that when we are educated or we are entering into this higher education scenario, then we build up the human resources that can be effective, or they can act effectively all over the world. And that is again another objective of the higher education scenario. And third one is that equality and the social justice. We know that is education is one of the phenomena which make people equal, and which helps in earning the social justice for themselves. Unless and until we are informed, unless and until we are educated, we cannot gain the social justice for ourselves. So that is another objective of higher education sector. And fourth one is the right kind of the work ethos. What type of work we will do, what ethics we will have to do that particular task or particular job, that can be achieved only once we enter into the higher education sector, has been claimed. And fifth one is that is the professional expertise. Whenever we want to gain some professional knowledge, then definitely we have to enter into the higher education sector. Yes, and definitely that is again giving the main objective of higher education is last one, but not the least, is the leadership control. Whoever is gaining the leadership control, definitely they have some time or the other times they have entered into the higher education sector in some way or the other. Now, the key roles of the libraries in the higher education. This has been discussed to some mostly by my previous speaker. I'm not going into very details, but to bring here the other talk, that is to continue with my talk, I'm saying that is the bringing the institutional effectiveness. So what is that? So bringing the institutional effectiveness, the library is the hub of the knowledge. Actually, library is the hub of the knowledge. It is the main thing or main part of an institution that is delivering the knowledge, that is giving us the knowledge. So to have the institutional effectiveness, to have the institution to run for the smooth running of the institutions, basically, we need the library. So the first role we can say it is the bringing the institutional effectiveness is the first role of the library. Second is to enhance the professional values in the users. Now, when the users are visiting, when they are coming to the library and they are consulting the resources of the libraries, they are gaining much of insights from the resources that are already available in the library. They are gaining a lot of knowledge from there. And therefore, their professional values also automatically they gain the professional values, definitely. And therefore, this professional values, to enhance the professional values, it is the next role of the libraries. Third is that is to strengthen the external relation. Libraries are the parts which can make the relationship stronger, the bond stronger. They can collaborate with the other institutions. They can collaborate with the other sectors or knowledge hubs, and therefore they can definitely build up the external relationship of the. They can grow the external relationship of the institutions. And fourth, that is the librarians as the educators. So this is there is a very great saying or great saying. One of my teachers also they have when we were into the library science course, he said many a times that master of all trades is the master of library science. Actually, you see that whoever is entering into the library, he or she has to handle so and so much of knowledge in every subject, and that makes him a master in that. And definitely, they can be the best educator. I can just being a teacher also, I salute to the librarians who are the best educators. They can be the best educators. They can make us educated, definitely. Whenever we talk to a librarian, they have so much of knowledge with them. They have so much of resources, so much of knowledge with them. And therefore, they can be the best educators. So therefore, the key roles, there is 4 key roles I have identified. That is, these are the 4 key roles of the libraries in the higher education. Now, a very important part here, that is for the accreditation part of the institutions, what we need or what we see, that is NAC. In India, there is an accreditation body, that is the National Assessment and Accreditation Council, which was established in 1994 as an autonomous institution of the UGC with its headquarters in Bengaluru. And they have provided some guidelines on the quality indicators in library and information services. They actually conduct the assessment and the accreditation, that is of the higher education institutions, such as the colleges, the universities, or the recognized institutions, to derive an understanding of the quality status of the institution. Basically, they deal with the quality status of the institutions, and they evaluate the institutions for its conformance to the standards of quality in terms of its performance related to the educational processes and outcomes, curriculum coverage, teaching learning processes, faculty, research, etc. So basically, actually, there are 7 criterion of NAC. There are 7 criterion of all of you know about NAC. That is, we are having this assessment. The colleges and the universities, they are going for the NAC assessment to get the accreditation of their courses. And definitely there are 7 criterion, that is curricular aspects, teaching, learning and evaluation, research, innovations and extension, infrastructure and learning resources, student support and progression, governance, leadership and management, and the institutional values and the best practices. So they have actually made the 7 criterion for giving us the guidelines that how to act, and they have indicated the quality. They have given some quality indicators for the library and information services in the higher education sector. So first one in it is the management of the library and the information services. So under this management part, they have identified or they have said that how many number of days the library is kept open. That is to be seen, that how many number of days it is to be kept open. And what are the working hours, whether the working hours of the library are flexible or not, whether the library is giving sufficient time to the users or the educators, that is the teachers and the learners, the students, to them or not, what is the working hours of that particular library. They have also started measuring on the basis of the library advisory committee, who are included into that particular committee, whether all the sectors, that is the faculty members, that is the students, the researchers, whether all of them are there in the library advisory committee or not. That is also a very important aspect of NAC. And fourth one is the manpower development. They have mentioned that the librarians, they must develop themselves, time to time, and they must be well trained in that part, and they must acquire fresh trainings also day by day, so that they can develop themselves, and that will help in the overall management of the libraries. Next is the infrastructure of the library. What is the infrastructure? What are the resources that are available in the library? What infrastructures that is the library is having? Whether it is very neat and clean environment, very mind-soothing environment or not, and how well the library is being maintained. That is another concern of the ICT infrastructure and the know-how. What is the ICT infrastructure? That is the ICT is a very important part nowadays for the libraries, and definitely in this pandemic situation, and before that also, libraries have started going for the automation services, and this infrastructure and know-how, they have mentioned about that. The overall policy of the institution on the library. What is the overall policy the library is giving? What the institution is, that is the institution is giving to the library. What policies are there for the library? And how much budget? This is a very important thing. That is, how much budget is there dedicated to the library? So whether they are getting the proper budget or not. So management of library and information services, they have given these guidelines for the library. And for the collection and the services provided to the users. So therefore, they are varied, authoritative, and the up-to-date resources. Whether they are having the up-to-date resources or not, whether the library resources are regularly updated or not, whether the resources are authoritative or not, who is the authority of that particular resource. So, and whether the variation in the resources is available or not. That is also another thing in the quality indicators for the library. And next is that is the wide range of the services, from the reference to the electronic information services. All of you know that is the reference services. How much the librarians are well equipped with the reference services, and how much they are giving the electronic information services. Nowadays, everything is being going online. They have started getting the online. They have started getting the online services. So, what is the electronic environment, or what is the electronic information services they are delivering? So, these are the points that is the NAC is considering and seeing for the quality indicators in the library services. Next, third is the extent and the use of the services. That is, what is the average number of books issued and returned per day? This is another concern. What is the book return and issue? And next is the number of reference inquiries, that is the users on average per month. That is, percentage may be specified. What is the reference inquiry that is we are getting from the library, from the users part, and what is this average? The percentage, it can be specified there. And the number of services delivered per user per month. What is the number of services we are delivering? We have to keep all these records. The librarians have to keep all these records so that they can face the NAC team very easily, and they can very smoothly and very nicely also, we can say. And what is the average number of users who visited the documents consulted per month? So how many times or who are visiting? Keep a record of all those things into your library. Compiling the information on the number of logins into the e-library services or the e-documents delivered per month. So we have, again, the library has to compile the information on the number of logins, how much they are logging, who are logging in into the e-services, the e-library services. These all things, these are the extent and the uses of the services under the NAC guidelines. And next is the best practices for the university or autonomous college libraries. So what is the best practice? They have also mentioned some of the best practices, how the libraries can function. See how much importance they are giving to the libraries in the higher education scenario. Because of that only, they have given a detailed guideline which will indicate the quality of the library and the information services, which will in turn enhance the institutional effectiveness. So this is first one, that is a library brochure or diaries or information packs. And they have said about the maintenance of the library brochure or diaries, said about the central reference library for the use of the constituent and the affiliated colleges. Third is the feedback from the stakeholders through the scientifically designed and analyzed questionnaire at least twice a year. Feedback, it is a very important thing. How we are acting, where is the lacuna, how we can meet up that lacuna. You can keep a feedback form for that. And the stakeholders, that is the teachers, the scholars, the researchers, that is the students, they can give the feedback, how you can develop the services. This is every time they will see. And the fourth one is the compiling or displaying the student-teacher attendance statistics, graphic on the notice board of the library as well as in the department. This is also very much important. That is, if we display the attendance records, then definitely there will be, actually you can see that we can pursue the students, we can pursue the teachers. Actually, we can force them that you are not coming to the library in this way. That's why I think that is NAC has framed, and they have said about the best practices of the libraries. Next, fifth one is the communication of their current awareness to the different user groups. So how the current awareness services, we can deliver the current awareness services. Everyone is very much eager to know what is going on in the outside world, throughout the outside world. So communication of these current awareness to the different user groups is another very best practice. And sixth is the information literacy programs. That is we are hearing. That is information literacy beginning of the academic year with a general presentation, and periodically for the need-based groups. That is beginning actually when they're beginning. I know that the librarians are following this. Definitely they are following this. Many of them are my friends also, and they are saying, my students, I'm consulting them regularly. They are giving the very much general presentation about the library. What is the library? What all contents that there? How can the library services be availed by the different user groups? That's in every beginning of every academic year. You can give this information literacy programs periodically for the need-based groups, definitely. And these information literacy programs, they must continue periodically for the need-based. Whoever is needing them, whoever wants it, that is there for them. And next is the teaching library programs. That is another thing. That is library, what they are giving, what services they are providing, this library programs can be taught. And seventh is the creation of the digital repositories. This is another very important thing. Definitely it is important from the previous time, and now during this pandemic, it has been a very much important, most important thing we can say, that is the article repositories, publication repositories, question paper repositories, courseware repositories, everything, each and everything is needed to be digitally kept, or digital repositories should be created in that sense. And the eighth one, here they have said about the best practices, displaying the new arrivals of the books or the journals and circulating a list to the different departments that use the library. So this is another very important thing that the librarians can do, and definitely they are doing also. That is the new arrivals of the books and the journals, whatever is coming, they are displaying it, and they are sending the list to the different departments. Suggestion box can be kept, and timely response can be received from it, and we can go through the suggestion box. And development of a website or web page for the library, including all the services and the necessary information. We can develop the website or web page for the library, that is including all the services. Definitely during this pandemic, I have consulted many of the library web pages, and they have developed beautiful, believe me that they have developed very beautiful websites, web pages, and at the click of a mouse only we can get many and lots of resources from them. So that is a very good thing also that we are getting, and establishing the linkage with the other libraries and avail the free or the nominal fee services. So this is another thing, that is we have to keep the linkage with the other libraries, because all the resources cannot be attained in a single library, because we know we are having the budget constraints very much. Every time all the libraries, they are facing the budget constraints, and this can be minimized, or this can be overcome by the establishing the linkage with other libraries who are having very good resources in that sense. And again, there are some best practices like the initiatives for research projects, turnkey projects from the library, development of the electronic environment on the campus, and encouragement to e-deliveries. Actually, e-deliveries is nowadays very much important thing that we are seeing, and NAC has also prescribed this. And developing the linkage with the functional units of the universities. And if it is a university library, that is Information Center, Computer Center, Department of Computer Science, Student Welfare Directorate, and also for the colleges also, there a computer center is there. Definitely there is a Department of Computer Science. They can have a liaison with them, and they can act in collaboration with each other. And conducting the exhibitions, demonstrations, lectures on the current issues. This is another very important guideline or very best practice, that is conducting exhibitions, demonstrations, because then only the users or your incumbents will come, and they will visit the library, and they will just see, and they will admire your services, definitely. So this conduction of these exhibitions, demonstrations, they are very much necessary. Building a network of college libraries under the aegis of the university. So college libraries, they can be built in the aegis of the university libraries, and that is also under the guidelines of the NAC. Now, these are some of the questions that they have put into that is university and autonomous college libraries. They have to answer the following basic questions while ensuring the appropriate services. That is, whether they are giving the appropriate services or not. That is, NAC has designed these questions for them. They have given, that is, does the library provide the following facilities or the services to the students? You can go through, that is, publication and research support services, information display and notification, bibliography compilation, ILL, or that is resource sharing, reprographic facilities, book bank, user orientation, computers, whether they are providing these types of services or not. Next is, that is the ratio of the library books to the number of students enrolled. So how many students are enrolled into the library or how into the institution, and how many library books you are having? What is the ratio? Number of logins into the e-library services or e-documents delivered per month. That is efforts made towards developing on-campus electronic environment and encouraging the e-deliveries may be mentioned. And network of academic libraries under the university's jurisdiction. And fourth is, that is membership of library networks, that is Info-Lib or Delnet, and consortia, UGC, Infonet or Indest or any other like the NList for the colleges. So here, as I am into the college library platform, I have taken this NList, that is the project that is entitled NList, that is jointly executed by Ishot Sindhu Consortium in Info-Lib Center and the Indest AICT Consortium IIT Delhi. They are actually giving us the 4 components for the managing, that is distinct components to subscribe and provide access to the selected Ishot Sindhu e-resources to technical institutions, and monitor its usage to subscribe and provide access to selected Indest e-resources to selected universities, and to subscribe and provide access to selected e-resources to government or government-aided colleges and monitor its usage, and to act as a monitoring agency for colleges and evaluate, promote, impact, training, and monitor all activities involved in the process of providing effective and efficient access to the e-resources in the colleges. So very easily we can subscribe to this e-resources, that is the NList e-resources, and the joining criteria for this is, that is the only thing, that is all government-aided colleges that is covered under the section 12B of UGC Act are eligible to access the e-resources, and for payment or membership fees, that is a very nominal fee also, that is registered colleges that are covered under the 12B section of UGC, they are required to pay only rupees 5,900, that is 5,000 membership fee and 900 rupees as a GST extra as annual membership fee or the renewal fee. And non-aided colleges that is registered for NList program, they are required to pay 35,400. That is the fees for this joining this NList consortium, and they are giving a lots and lots of resources that can well be accessed from these resources, and they can gain the very much knowledgeable resources in that part. Now let us come to the paradigm shift in the academic libraries. All of you know that we are running into the very intense situation. We are going through a very intense situation, and definitely there is a very great shift or great change in the academic library scenario during these few months. Last from March, when we have started with our lockdown period till today, and I think the days will continue also now also. That is they have seen, the libraries have tremendously seen a very great shift in their scenario. And so the first thing that they have seen, that is the collections, the diminishing value of the print collections. Actually, you can see that how we are diminishing the value of the print collections. The print collections, they are diminishing because we cannot go and consult the print resources. There is the mass digitization and the access versus archives. There is the mass digitization resources. We have to everything that we have to give the electronically. We have to supply each and everything electronically. And the end of the big deals, that is whatever many of the libraries they have, what they have opted is, that is whatever they have subscribed or whatever they have subscribed from the big publishers like that of Springer, they're going to discontinue it. And they are going to take only those things that are necessary for their users, that are very much necessary for their users. Distinctive collection digitization and copyright are the fair challenges. So this has the collections has been seen, a paradigm shift. Now next to this is services, that is the self-service models and the virtual alternatives. Embedded librarianship is another thing that we are gaining or we are seeing to it. And the rise of the open content and the open educational resources. This is a very important scenario. My next speaker will also discuss on it. That is the open content, whatever is there, the rise of the open content, how much we are opening up and how much we are dependent on those resources. That is very much seen in this scenario. Support for the online teaching and support for online research. The library website has a virtual front door. They are actually designing a very great websites. The good websites, they are mostly visited, and therefore they are the virtual front doors and the personalization and the promise of the artificial intelligence. That is another thing in the services part. And spaces, that is changes in the space designs that has been observed. now the clumsy spaces or very nearby, if we place those our desks, then it will be a very much harmful. After we open up again, that will be a very much harmful situation, definitely. And therefore, the space scenario is also being changed. The change in the space design has been seen, and the disappearance of the public technology, it has been seen. That is, we are now, we will be demotivating the public technology. We will be telling them to take their own resources, to take, if they have the systems, their own systems, to bring their own systems into the libraries and then access it. And the operations, that is the employee safety, doing more with the less, and equity of access and library activism. So these are some of the operations. That is, employee safety is the first thing, and more thing can be done with the less, very less resources. That is to be remembered here. That is, we have many open resources. Already we have seen that many of the libraries, they are incorporating them in their library web pages, and we can do it from there. And equity of access and library and activism. That is very much. So before concluding, I will say I will just quote two famous sayings from J.K. Rowling. One from J.K. Rowling, the British novelist, screenwriter, and producer. That is, when in doubt, go to the library. Whenever you are in doubt, please go to the library. Library is the institution which can clear all your doubts. Everything you can go and clear the doubts, definitely. And Neil Gaiman has said that the English author of short fiction, novels, and comic books, Google can bring you back 1 lakh answers. A librarian can bring you back the right one. That is a very, I like these both things. That is very important quotes. I love them. That we can say that, yes, we can search out the Google. But Google, they are not giving us all the authoritative answers. But librarian can give us the authoritative answers. And definitely, so librarian or library, we can say, it is the most important segment in our institution. So if you can read, you can thank a teacher. And if you can find something to read, thank the library. With this, I'm finishing. Thank you all. Thank you so much. Thank you. Sir, over to you, please. Thank you, Director, sir. Thank you so much. Sir, please continue. Organizers, please continue with the session. I have finished with my talk. Hello, am I audible? Hello? Hello, am I audible? I think there is some connection issues. Supriya? Supriya Mollik, Dr. Supriya Mollik. Dr. Abul Salam, is there any connection issue, please? Hello? So I think there is some connection issue. So we'll continue. Sir, I have finished with my talk, sir. Thank you.
Yes, I think there is some connection problem, but I am audible towards the others, so that I can speak from the point of view of director, that what Nivedita has started his discussion with Ranganathan and finally finishes our discussion with Rowling and Hillman, very nicely stated that libraries, what is basically enrichment of the education and culture, and at the same time the library is can bring you back the right one, what the Google cannot do. So Nivedita ma'am started her discussion with the overview of the higher education in India and number of educational institutions, literacy rate, and the main objectives of higher education, mainly where quest for excellence, human resource development, equity and social justice, right kind of work ethos and professional expertise and leadership is there, and the key role of the librarians in education, where Professor Shunibul Islam what has stated already, and Professor Bhattacharya again repeated such issue that institutional effectiveness enhances professional values in users, strengthen external relation, and librarian as educators. So after that, her discussion was concentrating on the NEC guidelines, National Assessment Accreditation Committee guidelines on quality indicators in library information services, where management of library information services, collection and services provided to the users, extent and use of the services, and best practices for the university or autonomous colleges. So on that basis, a number of points she has covered on the basis of the guidelines given by the NEC. Our elaborate discussion, I think will give all of us very informed about the NEC guidelines to the libraries and the role of the libraries in that regard. So the next whether the library should provide answer to the basic questions on the services, the relation between the library books and the role of the students in the ratio basis network of libraries under the aegis of the university, and the membership of the different network system, and at the time membership to enlist for accessing the e-resources. She had elaborately described how to join and etc for getting the resources, and finally the collection services, space and operations. On that basis, the paradigm shift in academic libraries have been changed. So our presentation started from Ranganathan to ends with the two famous quotations cover a number of areas, a number of discussion on the main topic, the role of the library in teaching, learning, education in higher education. So thank you, Dr. Bhattacharya ma'am. Thank you for your informative speech. And now I do request another professional colleague, Dr. Barnali Rai Chaudhuri from Netaji Supership University, deliver a speech. Please.
Thank you very much, sir. At first, I would like to greet all the members of this seminar or webinar, that Info-Lib Academia and Moyna College. At first, I would like to pay gratitude to webinar director Dr. Biplab Chakraborty, then teacher in charge of Moyna College, Professor Kalipuram Maiti, and Dr. Sangram Kumar Doloi, who is GB President of Moyna College. Thanks for giving me such opportunity to express my views on such wonderful topic that is role of library in teaching and learning in higher education. And I would also like to extend my thanks to my eminent teacher, that Dr. Subharna Kumar Dash, Nivedita Lee, Shariful Sir, and Abul Salam as a co-speaker of this webinar. And I would like also giving my gratitude to conveners of this webinar, Dr. Supriya Mollik and Professor Minmay Kumar Mahato, who is coordinator of IQAC of Moyna College. So thank you all for giving me such opportunity to present my views on this topic. So at first, I would like to say that please allow me to share my screen first. Is it visible? Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am. It is visible.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So actually, today the topic is on equitable educational support through open innovation. So this is the topic actually. But before that, I need to say something about this word equitable. Why I am talking about this equitable quality education and all? Just I think it is not visible in full screen. Is it visible? Is it visible?
No, ma'am. Yes.
I think now it is
Yes.
visible. No?
It is visible. Please carry on.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your kind response. So let's start with this topic that is equitable educational support through open innovation. Why I'm talking about this equitable education? Because I really believe that higher education, it needs equitable quality education for all. So equitable and equal, there is a little bit difference between these two words, that is equity and equitable. Equality is actually giving people the same thing. And whenever we are talking about the equity, it really needs fairness. Just you can see through this picture that this is a place where equality or equal opportunity is given to the person. So who are actually the needy person, they are become needy with this equal opportunity. And what about the equity? Equity is one kind of thing actually provide them the measurement who needs the actual thing for their own purpose. So this is the thing. Actually, in higher education, we really need equitable quality education for the purpose of promoting our knowledge, for the purpose of contributing something to the knowledge society as per our limit. And now we are all talking about the openness. Just through my previous slide, you can see that I'm talking about the equitable educational support with the open innovation word. But whenever we are talking about the equitable quality opportunity in an institution, in an higher educational sector, there we must have these three pillars. One is institution itself, higher educational institution or any institution who are providing higher education. Another one is resources, and third one is the learners. Learners are the learners and the institution. They are the very much important thing, and we are, as a part of the higher education institution, we are catering actually knowledge to the learners. So for this catering this knowledge to the user, we are using resources as the conduit. We are using resources as the conduit, and we are using resources as the content also. So in this webinar, or through my talk, I'm concentrating my topic on the resources, that is conduit. So, and the teacher or the librarian, they are actually playing as the facilitator of this entire system. So they are bridging the gap between this three things. They are bridging gap between the three things. One pillar is institution, another pillar is resources, and third one is learners. Librarians and teachers, they are bridging the gap between these three pillars with the collaborative manners, with a good communication channel, and as well as with the coordination between them. So this is the main thing, but which I found in this services as a teacher, as well as a personal of uh, as a part of library and information science domain itself. So we need equitable quality education to promote our knowledge, to contribute our knowledge for the knowledge society, for the futuristic view. And we are doing all these things with the open, in an open manner. So whenever we are talking about the openness, which kind of openness we are trying to offer to the student or to the institution itself? First one is accessibility, because whenever we are talking the term about the library, about the institution, about the learner, about the resources, so one main thing is this: accessibility must be there. So accessibility is a greater feature of a good library as well as a good institution. Even for the resources, we must have that accessibility. Accessibility in terms of time, in terms of pace, place, program, people. So there should not be any kind of barrier to access any kind of resources from the any perspective or from any point of view. This is the main thing. So openness must be there. Why we are caring about this openness? Why we are talking about this openness? Because as a part of the academia, we have to have lots of resources in our collection, whether it is in print format, whether it is in digital format. We are talking about the different types of resources. Suppose we are talking about journals, we are talking about textbook, we are talking about thesis and dissertation, and we are definitely talking about different databases, linked data, open data, like that. But why we should care about this? Why we should care about this? Because for the democratization of knowledge, we really need good amount of resources for all, because education is meant for all. In this way, suppose if I am trying to find or trying to browse or search anything on open educational resources, then on in any browser, immediately they will retrieve lots of documents, which is available, even which is accessible, freely available and freely accessible in the internet. Then what is the actual scenario? Whenever you are trying to click on that particular document, you are charging a lot of money for that, which is sometimes impossible. Subscription, paying money, really, actually, my previous speakers made my work little bit easy because they are focusing on the different services of academia, different services of libraries, and definitely they have already focused their speech on different nooks and corners of higher education institution and higher education, which is embedded with the library services. So we are actually just see this thing. There are lots of resources. So, and there are constraints to subscribe it. There are constraints of the budget. So it is really, sometimes it is really quite impossible to purchase all these materials from the in subscription based way. So leave it. Then whenever talking about, suppose I found, I just want a book. It's a wonderful book that is going beyond Google. And I have already found it. Whenever I'm trying to buy this thing, it is charging a huge money, which is not also possible. So in case of journal, in case of books, in case of other things, there really are inflation rate of all these things, all these educational materials which are available in the internet, which is available in the World Wide Web thing. So, and these are some references which are actually opted from Elsevier subscription price list. There are lots of journals out there, and with huge number of subscription cost, which is really impossible to access all these materials in a library or in an institution, because budget are not permitting us to avail or access all these materials. So to get rid of such kind of things which are really having lots of embedded with lots of constraint, it is not possible to overcome. If it is possible to overcome this situation, then it is only possible with the help of open access material. So to get rid of such kind of things, we can really have this open access material in our library or in our institution, so that equally and equitably we can distribute knowledge for our learners, for our users. So what are the, before getting to other things, first of all we have to have that knowledge that what are the goals of openness. Whenever I'm trying to talk about the openness in my various lectures, I'm always focusing on this four things. That is, first of all, democratization of knowledge. Because why I'm talking about this democratization of knowledge? Because knowledge is not private property. It is really a public property, because we are gaining knowledge from the previous literature, on the basis of previous literature. And what is our job as a part of academia or as a part of academia? We are just transmitting those knowledge for the future. We are gathering, we are accumulating, we are learning from the previous literature, and we are assimilating those literature in present context, and we are trying to transmit those knowledges for the futuristic approach, or for the futuristic view, or for the future generation. So democratization of knowledge is the first thing. Then access to information for all, which is also based on the philosophy that knowledge is a public property, it is not a private property. So give access to all, give access to information for the each and every participants of this academia. Then equitable quality education for all. For each and everyone, distribution will be said. Distribution is as per the requirement, like that. And it is actually, it will definitely maintain a sustainable development for the entire society, for the entire economic benefit of the country as well as the world. So for this reason, we are actually focusing on the goal of openness, and we are focusing on the openness. So we are talking about openness. What is openness? Openness about any legal, social, and economical barrier. Openness about the standard, openness about the software, openness about the system, and definitely which are the main pillar of the educational resources, that is educational resources, entire courses, entire assessment, etc. So whenever we are talking about the higher education, we must have to have the focus on the resources, because with the help of resources, user can, all learners can opt their knowledge, whether it may be in a print form or in an online form, or in a digital form, whatever it may be. So to access all these materials, we have to have that freedom in a legal way, so that it is not regarded as a infringement like this. We must have that freedom of the cost, because it is not each and every time possible to subscribe things, to subscribe resources in terms of huge money. And definitely in a technical perspective, it is free from any software obligation or system obligation. It means it needs interoperability. It means it definitely needs some kind of compatibility with the other software and system, so that there are nothing called like any kind of barrier to access all these materials from a user point of view, whether it is from in a library or library web page or in an institution like that. So this the cycle of this teacher student or teacher learner and the institution and the resources, it must be going on without any barrier. So such kind of openness must be there. And at the very first beginning, for the digitization process or for the accessibility of the print material or the accessibility of the digital material, what we face, what we have to think about first is legal issue. Because copyright issue, fair use, fair dealing, this kind of connotations are there, but in terms of copyright, that is intellectual property right. It means author actually retain their rights. They are retaining their rights. They are giving you permission to use, to remix like that. But you have to seek that permission from the author first. Then you can use those materials for the copyrighted material. But whenever we are talking, so this kind of legal issues are there. Always which are available in the internet in free of cost, it is not actually open. Maybe there is any kind of copyright policies there, copyright retained with the publisher or with the collaborator or with the author itself. So each and every time it may not be true. Free material which are available in the internet always are open. Maybe it available in the web platform in free of cost. You can download it, but you have to seek permission for further use to the appropriate authority. So such kind of legal issues are there. To get rid of such kind of legal issues, what we can do, we can use open licensed material. So open license is nothing, it is a copyright holder's right. Copyright holders actually, it means publishers or other content contributor, they have prior permission to use, to reuse, to remix, to revise, even to edit it also. So this kind, just in terms of you have to acknowledge that original author of the work. So this is the only condition you can use open license material. You have to acknowledge original author of the original content contributor or author of that particular work. This is the only term, and you can use, reuse, even edit it if there is any license, any open license is there. So this is the actually 6 kind of license provided by the Creative Commons organization. That is, it's also a non-profit organization which actually promotes 6 licenses These are the open licenses. They are giving you permission to use, to reuse. But through this licensing system, they are not giving you, they are actually giving you permission in which level you can use those materials. Suppose in attribution share alike, you can use, you can reuse, even you can edit, even after addition, you can redistribute all those material with your name. But one condition is there, that you have to acknowledge the actual author first. You can give the same license. It is mandatory for share alike. You have to give the same license of the newly generated product. So further knowledge is being added to the particular document or particular content, and it will the process much going on. In thus way, actually, the lacuna of the previous document, it is actually fulfilled with the new knowledge, and addition and augmentation and the addition, it is going on. So a new and a developed knowledge is being transferred to the knowledge society. So like others, and there are also other provisions also there, that is license in terms of CC BY NCND, the most restrictive one, that is non-commercial and non-derivatives. If this license is embedded with the content, then you are not allowed to create a new document with that particular document or with the from that original document, and you even can't doing any business by using that document. So the most restrictive license in open license platform. So Creative Commons gives you such kind of 6 options to publish your work, so that user can use all those documents under open licensing system, and they can reuse, remix, distribute all those documents for the further use. So this is the open licensing system. And now it is really actually it is important to know why we are trying to focus on this open innovation challenges or open innovation word. Open innovation, definitely we all know it is a provision, because it's a new, it is not a new concept, it is an old concept. It is actually, it is a provision to use document without any kind of barrier, that is any kind of legal barrier, any kind of social barrier, any kind of technical barrier, and any kind of economical barrier. It is really a good investment or a good provision for a library where the resources are limited, where budget are limited. Through this platform, we can manage our students, we can manage our knowledge also. So pros of open innovations are, as I told you that in my previous slide, the democratization of knowledge, access of information to all, even ease of availability of educational resources, fostering scalability, scalable and seamless access to resource, so on and so forth. So what we can do, we can identify, we can collect, we can manage, and we can disseminate and preserve those materials for the use of the for future use in our library. So, and in this provision, what as a librarian, what can we do? What we can manage all these materials. And now you can see one provision of European Commission, that is actually this initiative has been taken by the European Commission, that opening up education, which was launched in September 2013, that we have to move our higher educational system from innovative learning to innovative learning and teaching through information communication technology, and to modernize education for learners in sector. So modernization is not nothing, is not a big thing. It is all about to adopt available technology or available technical terms and available content as well as conduit, which is actually very much useful in the present context. So this is called this is actually what they are actually trying to interpret with the word modernization of educational system. So what we are targeting for innovative learning as well as innovative teaching. So for innovative learning and teaching, we must have the support of the good library with the good resources. So whenever we are trying to talk about these resources, I am really trying to focus on this open educational resources. And what is actually open, I have already told in my previous slides that these are the provisions on open. And there are different connotations of open access material or open innovations or open practices like that, like open content, open journal, open data, linked it like that. But from the perspective of higher education, we are trying to focus on the open educational resources. So what items actually or types are actually comes under the umbrella term of open educational resources? These are the curricula, syllabus, lecture notes, assignment, project, test, audio video material, animation, each and every kind of educational material, each and every kind of resources that are actually comes under the umbrella term of open education resources, which are available in the public domain with the open licensing system. So what are the actually limit? What are the actual use of this open education resources? You can use, you can copy, you can adapt, you can adopt, you can reuse, you can revise, you can remix all these materials for your futuristic work. Even you can make a new work, you can make a derivative work in your name. Actually, if contributed, you have edited that material, augment something, or add some knowledge on that particular previous literature, then you can even retain the rights of that newly documented material. So these are the peripheries of open educational resources. And what are the tools which we are trying to use in our libraries? That is open textbook, full courses, even test result, lesson plans, course material, lectures, audio video lectures, games, each and everything. So each and every educational materials comes under the umbrella term of educational resources. And whenever we are accessing it without any legal barrier, without any economical barrier, without any social barrier, and under the open licensing system and under public domain, then it is called as open educational resources. So these are the tools. And what is the connection between these library materials and OER materials? This is the same. Library materials actually that are talking about the journal, handbook, periodical, record article, monograph, publication, newspaper, thesis, dissertation. On the same way, open education are also talking about it's from curriculum to syllabus to the assessment also. Content, paper-based publication, teaching, video lecture, audio lecture, different licensing under which comes under different licensing system, different educational data, computer-based discussion, or multimedia-based resources, etc. So materials are same, content are same, just conduits are different. These are the recommended sources of OER. That is, first of all, we can consult with the learning object repositories available in present context. University-based repositories are there. Open courseware are there. Search engine of OER are there. Subject-specific repositories are there. Another one is multimedia OER. In that segment, actually, textbook, video, audios are also available. In case of full course, we have MIT Open Courseware Consortium, Open Learning Initiative, Sealer Foundation. You can opt it. and you can add it to your library also for the reference. There are lots of learning object repositories. Among them, university-based repositories are MIT OpenCourseware, OpenLearn, University of California. These repositories are very much useful. Even searching in of open educational resources are there, like Commonwealth of Learning's Directory of Open Access Educational Resources. Creative Commons, they have their own search engine. Folksomatic, they have their own search engine. There are different subject specific OER in case of health education, in case of engineering. So even in Tufts University, they have their own learning object repository. So we can avail all these repositories and we can use it. Textbook, like College Open Textbook, National Academy Press, OER Commons, videos like Academic Art, Khan Academy, VMO, audio like free stock music, YouTube audio library. So such kind of resources are there in actually available in the open platform. There are good number of open access repositories like Digital Library of India, then Budapest Open Access Initiative, EIFL Open Access Program, Spark, Berlin, Public Knowledge Open Access Project, SARN. So lots of resources are there. Even Hathi Trust is there. So we can avail a good amount of resources which are available in the open platform. In Indian context, we have NPTEL, we have NROER, through which we can use even EPG partial is there. We can download lots of documents, but there must be a restriction. So what we can, as a librarian, as a library professional, as a teacher, what we can do, we can make a digital repository, we can make a custom search engine through which we can add it to our library web page, and through which user who are actually our institutional user, if is any accessibility and availability in our library, they can search our library. If there is actually each and every library is not that much self-sufficient to provide all kind of resources to the user. So if any document is not available in our library, then they can search that particular document through the custom search engine, and you can make free custom search engine by your own with the help of Google custom search engine. So we can do it with the open distribution, open access distribution document, distributed document. We can make a digital library for our institution, and as well as we can use, or we can create a subject specific digital repository. Then we can use it in Moocs, because higher education definitely includes and embedded with a course. Moocs is actually a good platform through which we can offer open courses in worldwide platform. It's a actual example of my university's institutional repository, that is Netaji Suvash Open University has its own OER repository. And here you can see that there is two search button. First of all, search NSOU OER repository, which provides actually NSO's own publication, SLM's seminar publication, conference proceedings, etc. And such other OER repositories are actually, it's a custom search engine which actually gives you few links actually, like NROER, WOU OER repository, OER Asia, OER Commons, OER Online Archives, OER Africa, Globe, Creative Commons, Copyright License, OASIS, like this. So there are several kinds of links are there. If what we are doing, we are embedded all these links in one search engine, one search box, through by using that Google custom search engine mechanism. And apart from that, NSOU OER repositories offer special courses, open courses. You can avail open material, you can avail open textbook, you can avail open images from this particular link. So these are the provision, and we have our own learning management system. With the help of Moodle, we are actually facilitating and catering our courses through the, even we are conducting our online classes through using Moodle platform. So these are the things actually we are practicing in our university also. So these are the available courses, and students can give their or submit their document here. Even we are facilitating our educational support through this platform also. So what is actually the requirement of the special or this situation? It is also even fruitful for this pandemic situation also, that in our case, in a higher education institution, in the present context, open access actually promotes you to convert our learners as a producer, not as a consumer. Because rights of education is, it's also a basic right, as I know, and as far as I think actually. This is my personal view, that right to education is the basic right also. So let's learn to be a producer rather than a consumer of the content. And please do enrich your library with the help of open access materials, because these materials are really available in the open access platform, and you can just add your knowledge, add your technical expertise, little bit technical expert, because we are from the library and information science background, we are not from the computer application background. So with the help of little bit knowledge and little bit initiative, you can offer a good resource, a good repository to the user, a good resource to your learner, to your user. Maybe it's a learner, maybe it's a teacher or a educational staff, or anyone. So we have to definitely, as a librarian point of view, we have to convert citizen to the user, because citizens are there. We have to convert all citizen or maximum citizen to the as a user of the library or as a patron of the library. And I, with this word, I would like to conclude my presentation and my thoughts, that actually this education for all, actually it's a step, this the entire thing of openness and impact, and it is which includes the availability and accessibility of resources, that is a step toward achieving the goal of education for all. And as a librarian, as a facilitator, facilitate learners and others to read purpose educational material with open license freely for sustainable and qualitative teaching learning process. So this is the main thing for which actually I'm trying to elaborate with my uh, uh, deliberation. And for the ease of retrieval, definitely we have to maintain all these things from the content level with the help of new technology embedded conduit. This is the main thing. And thanks for your one kind attention. And if you have any question, please you can share with me. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bhandari. Thank you, Dr. Bhandari Rajyodhri ma'am. Your presentation on equitable educational support through open innovation is a very good. It is a new direction in this webinar, because you started with a difference between the equity and equality. It's a very good. What is meant for fairness, and another one is meant for the distribution of the same things to the users. Very good. So, and you started your discussion with the openness. Why should we care? There are a number of constants. You demonstrated that, and to get rid of that kind of constraint, you have mentioned a number of goals, mainly 4 goals of openness: the democratization of knowledge, access to information for all, equitable quality education for all, and the sustainable development. What is the main advantages of the open innovation? for identifying, collecting, managing, disseminating, and processing educational resources can be done. So at the time, the openness should be there for the legal, social, and economical side, standard, softwares, wares, educational resources, courses, assessment, every places, every cases, there should be the openness, and at the time there are a number of issues have been emerged, etc., etc. So, I don't want to go into detail, but the meaning of and the discussion on the openness in all aspects have been described by you very nicely, and what in European Commission, the opening of education, which was launched by the European Education to innovative learning and teaching through education, ICT, and to modernize education for all in all the educational sector has been described by you. So I think that there are the open educational resources, a lot of there, and you have described all the issues very nicely. Open textbooks, library materials, and all open educational resources, sources of open educational resources, learning, the object repositories, digital repositories, they are the Mooc, custom search engine, etc., etc. Everything has been described. Institutional repositories, Google custom search engines, and a number of issues have been presented, and you have demonstrated on the basis of the Open University library system. The model is operating on as a platform for learning management system has been described by you very nicely. So thank you for your nice presentation, which provides this webinar new direction. This is the equitable educational support through open innovation. I think I should convey again thank you to Monali ma'am. Very good. Very good to my earlier speakers also, Professor Shariqul Islam and Professor Nivedita Bhattacharya. Both the three speakers very nicely have presented their speech. Now, the deliberations are very wonderful. I convey on my behalf, and also the part of the webinar, thanks and gratitude to all the three speakers already discussed, already mentioned in their deliberations. So, last but not the least, I want to hear the speech from Professor Suborno Das, Suborno Kumar Das, is a professor and the head of the Department of Library Information Science of Jabalpur University. My young colleague is a very good fellow in the Department of Library Information Science field, and I really indebted to him because he has given the chance the junior colleagues to speak earlier before him. So I again thank Suborno, professor of the Department of Library Science of Jabalpur University. He's a very well-known person in the field of library information science, and I really proud to be with him. So I do invite him, that means Professor Suborno Kumar Das, to deliver his lecture. Just like over to Suborno.
Yes, sir, I am audible.
Yes,
I am
audible.
Respected Dr. Sangram Kumar Doloi, Chief Patron of this webinar. Respected Dr. Kalipodo Maiti, Teacher in Charge, Moyna College. Respected Professor Biplab Chakraborty, Director of this webinar and Founder, Info Academia. respected Professor Sariful Islam from Rajshahi University, respected Minmoy Mahato, Coordinator IQC, respected Dr. Nivedita Bhattacharya, Assistant Professor, Department of Library and Information Science, Vidyasagar University, respected Dr. Bornali Roy Chaudhuri, Assistant Professor, Netaji Subhash Open University, my friend Dr. Abu Salem, Librarian, Howrah Dinabandhu College, and my beloved sister, Dr. Supriya Mullik, Librarian, Moyna College, and Mintu Haldar, Joint Secretary, Info Academia. I convey my sincere thanks and gratitude to all of you to invite me as a speaker in this webinar. Just, I think, I share my knowledge or experience and take only 15 minutes, and I think it is from practical point of view, which I think, which I believe that I will share in this webinar. It is showing, sir. It is showing. Hello. Sir, it is showing.
Yes, sir.
It is visible.
Visible, sir. Please carry on, sir.
Yes. The COVID-19 pandemic has created the largest disruptions of education system in history and affecting nearly 1.6 billion learners in more than 190 countries and all continents. Due to the COVID-19 outbreaks worldwide, the academic institutions have been enforced to entirely cancel face-to-face teaching, including laboratories and other learning experiences, as a mitigation step against the risks posed by coronavirus. Accordingly, various measures by higher education providers have been initiated to social isolation strategies, and online teaching is followed by rapid curriculum transformation. And then the online delivery is more convenient as it can provide vibrant and dynamic teaching and learning environment beyond some social constraint. From this point of view, my topic is here, the teaching from home through digital platform and the role of academic libraries in higher education, opportunities and challenges. First of all, according to Rousseau, man is born free, but everywhere he is in chain. This is the great Rus philosopher or sociologist. On the basis of his concept, in our country, our academic system is divided in three parts: primary, secondary, and higher. And also it is noted that, according to Dr. Kalam, the education is the most important area of service sector and to provide a required knowledge and skill to do any work. And third thing is that the importance of education is not only in knowledge, skill, but it is to help us to live with others. So education is very much essential for our living and clothing in our society. In our country, in India, more than 900 universities, more than 500 college, 50,000 college libraries, more than 30,000 colleges, as per the records of University News 2018. I mentioned here, and it can be increased or decreased, whatever may be. But in our society, at present, there are the four types of teaching mode was going on within a full swing. First of all, contact mode, which we like to use very much. Second is non-contact mode, and this concept came into market due to the COVID situation. Another thing is blended mode. I think it is also the adjustment mode in our society. And fourth is inclusive mode,
And a 4 types of modes are available in our teaching and learning process, especially in the higher education. And why we teach from home? Why we not go to our college or universities? I have already, all of you know very much well, the pandemic situations or disaster period at national or international level. For distance education, no need to go to the college or universities, or online education, or Moocs, or virtual learning environment. At that time, we are well equipped through our digital platform, our knowledge, our educations, etc. And I think at present scenario, in the pandemic situations, through digital platform, teaching and learning is now accepted by the state government and central government. So many teaching apps are available in our market, and because without knowing the preliminary concept about the teaching apps, it is not possible to teach our client like students, scholars, or others. And there are so many apps are available in the market for digital or online education. One is also mentioned here, the Philgrid, another is Newport, then is Tiglings, another is Teachers Help Teachers, another is Wakelets, another is Microsoft Forms, Padlets, then is Banchi, but Test Mode, EduPuzzles, Diksha, the T, Duolingo, another is Google Classrooms and Google Docs, another is Google Slides, Google Drives, Google Forms, Zoom, and Gmails and Google Hangout, and Teamlinks, WebEx, Meetings, and at present we are in the platform of Steamwork. It is also one kind of the digital platform. So these are the platform by which we are taking our classes from our home to the UG, PG, MPhil, PhD, for refresher course, orientation program, short-term course, faculty development program. From our home, we are delivering lectures to our students, and they are getting benefited, which is already approved by the government or UGC or state and central government or any private or public universities in our country. So these are the scenario, and these categories our student community for their betterment and for their educations and upliftment. We are using these types of platform not only for student point of view, for administrative point of view. We are also using such types of digital platform for our PhD pre-submissions, for our board of studies meetings, for our moderations or etc. During pandemic situations, we are also using such types of apps, especially teaching apps for our administrative purpose or academic administrative purpose. And also by these apps, we are getting benefited, and some students or students community or research scholar, they are also getting benefited. They can complete their research work within a limited time and can finish their PhD or other MPhil research work through these teaching apps and fulfill their criteria like pre-submission and like that. So this is our systems in our country, and we are going to be very familiar with these teaching apps, and for the betterment, for the help, or for the upliftment, or for the education purpose of UG, PG, and PhD and MPhil and others level. So online teaching, it is a totally based on computer, and the content may be on the web or the internet or simply installed on a CD-ROM or the computer hard disk. I think most of the people are very much aware about this. In our rapid changing world, we find it difficult to overcome the learning challenges and the possible achievements. And to bridge this gap, the concepts such as e-learning, e-teaching, so e-teachers has become the part of effective education. The e-teachings is the appreciation of live teachings with streaming lectures, whiteboards, download slides, etc., and discussion forums, and whereas it is an automation of existing teacher-centered educational approach. And also, we never forget that the real work is in creating content and learning management systems that support e-learning. UGC 12 plan already suggested no chalk and talk policy, and e-lectures of some experts of various subjects will be uploaded in the UGC website. UGC also believes in the digital mode for teaching and learning process from 12 plan. The e-teachers are teachers who work in an internet environment in both regular and virtual classroom situations. And they find new learning resources as they interact with information, materials, and ideas with their students and colleagues. They build new concept of working in time and space. Nowadays, a new concept came into market, that is real-time teaching. When we are using the digital platform for teaching, the real-time teaching came into market in our society. And I think through this online platform, when we teach our students, there are some opportunity we can acquire, and our student community will get benefit through this online teachings and learning process. When a teacher will deliver his lectures or present his slides or share his slides through online mode, our student community, they will get some opportunities or benefits. First of all, the time, it is a time saving cost, very low cost. You can store it in your repository, that is the digital repository, and like that, you can record your classes. In this webinar, it is also recorded in the YouTube. More information on the same topic, it is possible when I will communicate to my students and send some documents or tutorials or articles through digital platform. He will get benefit, and I think it is a better for him. And the direct interactions, and it is also the attractive, because when I am seeing my face, which are appearing in the laptop or desktop, that is a very interesting. And I think the real live teaching is possible through the digital environment. And the student community will receive the structured information with a minimum time. That is the quick communications. And also the growth and development of online knowledge and self-motivations. So when I use any types of electronic devices or internet or etc., internet connected laptop, desktop, etc., should have some knowledge. Otherwise, we cannot handle the devices and cannot access the information, cannot access the lectures delivered by teachers. That is the online teachers or e-teachers. There are some challenges also here. One thing is the digital divide, information rich and poor, monetary expensive, skill for handling, internet literacy, computer literacy is also the point of view. Then the network connectivity is also some places for remote access, the network is not good. There some students are the very clever because they are active in internet but inactive in mind. They will join in the class but not hear the total class. When the class is going to be end, at that time he will come and join. Sometimes it is a very monotonous frustrations in mind or mental blockage that can be appeared among the students. In a daily newspapers, all of you seeing that some students are not getting benefit the digital devices. They cannot have the mobile phones or etc. Sometimes not without getting the mobile phone. Some students, they are also criticized by his or her friends and take decisions for suicide. It is also on kinds of news in our daily newspapers. The concentrations, whether he is concentrated or not in a daily classroom, day-to-day classroom, by physical classroom system or contact mode, when the student concentrate or not, the teacher can take care. And in this system, it is not possible. The less percentage of internet users, orientations on how to use internet, it is also the problem. How to handle, how to use, how to know, how to access, this is the questions. More storage in devices and less emphasis on reading. I think I will collect so many things, so many lectures, slides, etc. in my pen drives, in my hard disks, etc. I cannot consult. It is also the problem. I have not read properly, not consult, not study, but everything is available in my laptop or desktop, in my hard disks or pen drive and so on. No real-time or informal communications with the teachers is possible, and teachers training on teaching apps is very much essential for fruitful teaching through digital platform. Some of the role of library is also the vital part. What are the role? To act as a support system in teaching and learning process. And the library services is a non-contact mode is essential because due to the pandemic situations through contact mode it is not possible for some scientific reasons. Then to develop a e-resource management in the library of higher institute of learning and creating a e-portals for student and faculty members. That is very vital. And then the online user orientation from home and use of e-devices and its limitations. Then the coordinations, integrations, and the coordinations among teacher, student, community, the maximum satisfactions for the use of e-resource, and the motivations I will give these types of service to my clients. I think from the library point of view, it is very vital. And what is the practical scenario in our society that must be communicated to the teaching community, to the faculty members, to the student community. Then the monitoring, and the library cannot solve all the problems. Library can help as a support system. They can give some e-documents through mail or etc. through WhatsApp and any other digital platform, but they cannot solve all the problems. They will help some documents. They will advise to the teaching community, sir, you can visit these types of website, you will get benefit. No need to send any documents. The teacher in his laptop will visit that types of sites. That is the open educational resource as suggested by Barnali Raichodhuri, such like that. And through library service in non-contact mode, I think it is the very critical situations because library service through non-contact mode, it can create so many problems because the library authority have no lot of money to purchase lot of computer servers or internet connectivity, no lot of manpower, professionals, how to maintain the computer or internet connected computer in the library. This is the problem, monetary problem. So there are some practical problem, but if librarians should have the positive attitude towards the academic community, they can help, but they cannot satisfy 100%. But they have the mentality to coordinate, to communicate to the teaching community as well as student community. They can work from home and they can send some documents to the student community, and community can get benefited, and they can use for their online exams or etc. as prescribed by the UGC. These are the point of view. Once upon a time, I was the librarian in a postgraduate college. I've also seen that the students come in the library when they require their most relevant document which are not available elsewhere. Otherwise, they never come to the library. For they are compelled to come to library in the direct mode. But in non-contact mode, they can request, they can send request to the librarian. Librarian, if possible, can communicate to the student, can help, can attach the PDF or Word file to the student, and the student can get the benefit through these library services. I think this is my point of view from practical point of view. So no substitute of physical classroom teaching in our society. Teaching from home is totally need-based, object-oriented, depends on librarians' help, guidance, service to faculty members. This is the vital. And it is very much acceptable at present in developed countries, but not developing countries. Because the developing countries have the lot of money, they can do anything, they can purchase any types of devices, any types of instrument for the service of the student community or faculty community. Success and failure of teaching from home through online depends on more knowledge on internet use. And then the library cannot satisfy all stakeholders of teaching and learning process. And it is my point of view, NAAC guidelines for library service is not properly implemented in our country. our country is a semi-colonial and semi-feudal country. After independence, so many guidelines published by the NAC, curriculum development guidelines, NAC guidelines for library service. So many open educational resources are available in our cyberspace. But there are the questions of the digital right management. I think most of the library professional cannot use these types of open educational sources which are available in the cyberspace due to the lack of knowledge and due to the digital right management in our society. So from practical point of view, the librarians are also thinking about how to handle the e-resources in the changing context of pandemic situations. So in these situations, devices or internet connections or laptop or desktop is very much essential when he is working from home. If he do not get any types of devices through mobile phone, it is not possible to deliver various types of e-resources to the teaching and student community. So finally, I can say that Google became more popular in teaching and learning process in present context. And everybody can visit at first Google when he will appear for online exam. When a teacher will going to deliver lecture, he also take the help of Google, because World Wide Web is a library and Google is the librarian. So Google is playing in present context, in the present pandemic situations also a online librarian. I think with the help of Google, large number of students are getting benefited in our society. But we never forget the role of the librarians, especially for academic institute. They have some social responsibility to help the teaching and student community within a limitation, constraints or limit of span of control within the limitations of each institute. They can help to the teaching and student community. Then the status of the librarian will be enriched, and student community always keep in mind that during pandemic situations, the library and the library staff help them for their education as well as for their examination purpose. So these are my experience which I share in this platform. And thank you, Professor Biplab Chakraborty, webinar director, and Dr. Supriya Mollik. Recently, Supriya awarded doctorate. I congratulate Supriya, the librarian, Moyna College, and other team of Info-Lib Academia. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Suvarna Kumar Das, for your lecture on the teaching from the home through digital platform and role of academic libraries in higher education. What are the challenges and what are the opportunities? I start from the concluding remarks made by you that there is no substitute of physical classroom, and librarian cannot satisfy everyone. This is very much true, and in that case, the NAC guidelines are to be followed by the libraries. And there is a divide between the developed countries and the developing countries. The developed countries are getting much benefits because of the strong economic resources. The developing countries are not basically providing the support to the population. That means in all aspects of population. Mainly we are discussing with the student population. So developing countries are not able to satisfy all the student population in that respect. This is your this is your suggestion, and this is your observation from your practical experiences, and at that time, Google, which you have said that Google can play an active role, though at the same time you have mentioned that library is an active agent to provide services to the users. But your lecture starts with the there are different types of teaching mode. Why teaching from home? Why there are different types of teaching apps, and there are a number of opportunities. Why the teaching from or teaching and learning from home can be done, and there are some a number of challenges. You have mentioned a number of points, a number of issues. I can get all the points, but it's not the time to discuss at present. Everybody has heard the lectures delivered by you. Your presentation is very well informed, and we are very much informed about your informative lecture. So thank you, Professor Suvarna Kumar Das, and I again thank you all the speakers. Already 3 speakers, I have conveyed my thankfulness and gratitude to them. Again, along with Professor Suvarna Kumar Das, all the speakers present in this international webinar, 3 from India and 1 from Bangladesh. I again convey my thanks to them for their nice presentation, wonderful deliberations, and the discussion is not one way or one mode of direction. Rather, everybody has tried to their own lecture in their own mode. So that everything, every presentation, every lecture is generally is moved to their own way. So that all the issues, all the speeches delivered by the speakers are very much informed. I think the participants will be much more benefited from the discussions and the deliberations made by the speakers. That means you, the presence, the eminent personalities present in this webinar. So I thank again to the conveners for organizing such an international webinar and wonderful discussions. Wonderful discussions were held, and with these viewers, I again just want to mention that a number of comments came. Have come to me, have come to us in the comments box, that means chat box, and every participant who already has written that this is an excellent presentation and a nice presentation, and they have congratulated to you all. So and this is not from India, this is from Bangladesh, this is from outside of the outside India and Bangladesh. That means throughout the world your presentation has been discussed or heard by the number of participants. So I again convey my thanks to you all the because of your the speech delivered in Olympiad. So, and there is no question from the participants, but a number of participants are very much, I think they are very much attentive, and they were listening every speech given by you in this webinar. So I convey my thanks to the participants. One question now came: what are the main barriers to online education in a country like India? What there are many infrastructural problems, and how can those obstacles be overcome? Oh, this is a general question, not a single one. This so you can give the answer.
Sir, hello. Hello, online education in a country like India, where there are many infrastructure problems, and how can those obstacles be overcome? Actually, online education started only for the job people. I deliver these lectures for various platforms. Online now, in the pandemic situations, government became compelled to introduce online education for our academic system. We are compelled because direct or contact mode is not possible. That is why we became compelled. We never know what is teamwork, what is Google Meet, Google Hangout, or Zoom. Recently, we are aware about it. Second thing is that without the monetary support, cost, price, money, manpower, these are the vital issue to proper implementation of online education in our society, which is possible in the developed country, but not possible in the developing countries like India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Nepal, Bhutan, and etc. This is the main scenario. But if you have the lot of money, the private institute, they are also developed properly. Recently, I have delivered a lecture in the Mizoram University orientation program. They have already purchased Zoom. Very nice. Only the speaker is there like a studio of Star Anando, ABP Anando, like that. So when we are trial version, we are using Zooms, then the line is not communicated properly. But I am delivering lecture to my student because my university told me, please start your intermediate semester class and communicate to your student. I am online education already implemented through the Google Meet or etc. and so on, and not properly communicate my lectures due to the problems of the apps, teaching apps, because it is the trial versions. So when I purchase these types of teaching apps, then I can get lot of benefits. In this studio, only 6 people are applicable. Why? When we purchase teamwork, then there are the 12 will be the applicable. This is the problem. So online education in present scenario, we are also introduced due to the government rules and policy. We are personally, I have not believed the online education. I am very much familiar with the contact mode in my classroom. So, but online educations in the Western countries or etc., they are also properly implemented. In our country are the Moocs, also for the online education. Moocs is also the project of the government of India, Ministry of HRD. So, and I think the Moocs have a lot of problem. In a seminar of the Agartala, I have also pointed out. So, when in our country, where the 138 crore people is living, and more than 900 universities, government universities, and more than 200 private universities in our country. So, without the proper monetary support, space, manpower, government policy, and other things also are essential to proper implement of online education in our country. And this is the actual scenario in our country, but in developed country, it is possible. They have a lot of money, they can do anything for the education. So this is my point of view, which I know I share here.
Okay, thank you.
I have to. Yes, sir. I have something say
yes.
here, because actually, in my point of view, online education is not a matter of money and all. It's definitely a good provision for the people who are not actually come to the conventional university itself, because in different countries, and even in India also includes actually, conventional universities facilitate those students or learners, those who are able to come to the conventional university. And online education or open universities, they're actually catering services, and they're reaching the education to all participants for the marginalized area also. So it's really a benefit for all the participants, not only for the job oriented people. It is possible for all and each and every people who are unable to, or who has restrictions or constraint to come to the conventional university itself.
So I think
so this is the main thing.
One
and another one is, please let me finish one thing, Shubhananda, please let me finish one. thing, another more thing is actually it is not about the facilities available through online classes only or technology embedded platform only, because we are catering information and knowledge and our entire educational system with the help of the uh, other colleges which are situated in different parts of West Bengal. So it is not mandatory that online thing is a provision. It's a opportunity to advance or develop our educational system. It is not definitely it is not a barrier also. It is an advantage. It is a boon for us definitely, and we have to cope up with the situation because technology is always talks about the development and all. Right from the beginning of our life, whenever we have tried to make a wheel with the help of the wood, that is also technology. Whenever we have lighted a fire, that is also technology. It is actually conduit has been changed from print format or from paper to this computer screen, but the content is same. If we are able to deliberate our content, then it is same in case of face-to-face mode. It is also same in case of online mode and in case of blended learning also. So it is the time to adopt blended learning situation. So there is no controversies against any conventional universities or any open or online teaching learning methods. So it is actually a combination of the online education as well as the conventional system education. So definitely it's a boon, and COVID-19 has actually gearing up the situation, entire situation. This is the present scenario. It is not about the developed country or underdeveloped country. It's all about the willingness and the infrastructure or the initiatives we have actually taken. Thank you very much.
I am not totally agree with you, because
Maybe.
how many people will have the mobile phone or Android phone or online education? How many?
As per the survey, it is more than 51% in our country.
In the government,
51% is not a matter of joke.
How many people have the mobile phone Android? How many the literacy people?
Yes.
How many
Yes,
access
I
the
am
people?
talking with you,
And the
it is
government,
51%.
Ministry of HRD invest lot of money for their national mission. That is already flop. And now going to the Moocs, that is also going to the flops, because for the benefit of some people, they are joining in the OP or orientation program as a substitute through Moocs. They are getting benefit, not for laymen. This is the actual scenario in our country. Actually,
I'm not
for the
agreed with
online
you.
system, it is a business that is going by the government level also. For the poor people or remote access,
No, you can't accuse educational system as a business.
No.
It is another mode.
No,
It is another
actually,
mode.
my
Yes.
point is that for the IIM or IISC, they are also offering course through online, 1 lakh, 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs. They are well organized. And some people also joining from the executives, marketing executives, or etc. and so on. But in our semi-colonial, in my lecture also pointed out, semi-colonial and semi-feudal country, how many people are also have the internet access, the literacy rate, digital divide, so many things is there. When I introduced the online education or national library, national digital library schemes, how many? 50,000 college in our country. Only 1,200 college get the benefit of national digital library missions is there. In recently, 4,500 people also join in the orientation program run by the Moocs SAM project. But the state government is not allowed, because state government cannot approve these types of course, because it is not conducted by the HRDC. So many problems is there. Only one community is getting benefited who have the capacity, knowledge, or ICT or internet, etc. They are also get very few people. For in the laymen who are doing graduate or etc. postgraduate, they are not getting benefit through the online system in our country. And this is the actual scenario. What is open educational research? How many people are aware about it? How many colleges in our country they are also introduced open education research? Only the implement enlist that is not properly implemented in the college. I have also clearly mentioned in my lecture, the college have no money to computer, to server. That is why they cannot accept so many benefit by the UGC or implement and so on. So I think it is a debating. I request Bernali, you organize a program. I will deliver about this system in an open forum, in a direct mode, not in the digital platform. Thank you.
Thank you, Shubhananda, for your offer. I will definitely invite you. Okay.
Thank you, Monali and Suvarno. Whether Nivedita, do you want to say something?
Only one thing I may add, sir, that there is no other way presently to deliver the classes. So right from the month of April, we have started with the online mode of teaching. Definitely, we faced lots of problems, but we are getting habituated to it because our hands are bound so much. So definitely now, what is the other way out? We have to stay at home and we have to carry out our classes. We have to prepare for the exams. The students have to appear for the exams, etc. That is why we are going. But I am missing my class days very much. I am very much missing my physical classes because I could not see my students' face rightly because many of them are turning off their cameras and they are just turning off their microphones and they are sitting behind the screen. I don't know whether they are sleeping, whether they are listening to me. I cannot see their reactions on their faces. That's why I'm missing my online physical classes very, very much. But there is no way out now. So we are bound to take these online classes. So that is my opinion. And definitely what Deep asked in his question, that is there, what are the barriers? Barriers are there because I am seeing that as I'm in a rural university, there are many students who don't have a smartphone, proper smartphone actually. And we are very much frightened that during this exam time, what they will do. Because if they cannot download the question papers, etc., because not many, only one or two may have a laptop or a desktop at home, and others may not have those things at home, and only they have a smartphone, poor smartphone. Though we are actually digital immigrants, but many, as far as I can say that my daughters and all, they are the digital natives. They are the digital natives. They are starting their education from the online mode itself. They are the digital natives. We are the digital immigrants, definitely. But what to do in this particular situation? We have to go with the whatever is going on. And I agree with it that there are definitely there are many barriers that we are facing while delivering our classes, while delivering our lectures. But let us see. We have to go for the blended learning at present. And when it will be over, definitely we will again move to the physical classes. So it's okay that we have to bear with the situation. Thank you.
Dr. Bondali Rajchandri, can you speak again to counter?
No, it's okay. I'm also talking about the blended situation. This is the present scenario and we have to adopt it. That's all. I'm also actually agreed with Nivedita Di. It is a situation where we have to adopt blended learning approach. That's all. Thank you.
But the main points of how can those problems be overcome? What will be the answer?
Problems may be there because digital divide things are not to be overcome.
Problems can be overcome.
But
this is a great question.
Problems are there, but we have to cope up with the situation.
Problems cannot be overcome at the right
moment.
moment.
Be overcome, sir. Actually, it cannot be fully overcome unless not we again physically meet. And let us hope that we will have some better days ahead, and we will meet very soon in the future. Let us all hope.
This is a part of the teaching and learning process. But when we'll be talking about the online education in a country like India, then how the and there were a number of problems in regard to the infrastructure. So at that time, how can we solve the problem? Do you know? I think you not only we all and most of all of us are of the opinion or think that and there is no solution at the right moment. I think there is no solution.
Actually, here we need a national level ICT policy.
There are number of reasons. There are number of reasons. That suppose when you will be talking about the digital divide, then the root of the digital divide is to be find out. So that is a issue of the social, political, economic, and etc. other issues. So suppose when you are when Nivedita has talked about the GER, gross enrollment ratio, and the teacher student ratio in a lecture, then if you find that the enrollment, why enrollment is only 25 point something,
Yes.
that means
Definitely.
why total population 100% is not there. So there is a question. It is a long type of time of question. It is long.
Biplab, the few words.
Yes.
One thing is that I am talking about not online education in pandemic situation. I am talking about our online education system in our country, not talking about the. Second thing is that our government, already some teachers association, they have make a complaint lodged because central government is trying to implement online education partly. You are talking about the blended. I think in future we are going towards the blended learning system because no recruitment. Some class will be held in the classroom and some through online from home. So in these situations, government is very cleverly, they are introduced the online system, online education in our country. But my talking about the online education in a nutshell, not in the pandemic situation. In pandemic situation, another part, and in the online education
We are
system in
not.
the
We are
development.
not talking about the pandemic situation. We are
Yes,
talking
yes,
about
yes.
the non-pandemic coming situation
Yes,
also.
yes. And that context, I told him because the government is trying through online education, it is implemented in the college and university system. In future, appointment will be cut down, and no appointment. I think teacher recruitment will be the face problem, and so many things. But it is not a very good, clear history or clear-cut picture from the policy of online education, etc., from national missions, and now the SAM or etc., National Digital Library Education policy. So many are also initiated by the government, Minister of HRD. So my point is that the online education, he has the very good merit or etc. I have no debate. But which is possible or not in our country, that is my point. That is the online education is good or bad. No, I have no question. I have no idea. But one thing is that whether it is possible in our country from government level or non-government level, that is the point of view. And money is the main factor in this system, how to implement online education system in private or government organization. And another thing, during pandemic, I totally oppose the blended learning system is not possible because I cannot consult any types of books. Some lecture I deliver to online, and sometimes I give some notes or etc. How is it possible in the pandemic situation? But blended mode is possible in the normal time. That is possible. That is no question. But in the pandemic situation, when the library is closed, there are no sanitization process or etc. Nothing instrument or etc. How can some question is through the depends on books and some other lecture through online? This is the combinations of the blended mode is the combinations of the traditional modes and online modes. How is it possible in this situation, in the pandemic situations, the blended mode? I can't understand.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your respective opinion and comments. Thank you,
Yes.
Paul. Do you want to add more? I think this is enough.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
thank you again for
Thank you.
your
Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you all.
for your deliberate speech. Deliberate speech means from your own heart. What you are saying on the issue. I think there may be the other platform. There may be other webinar to discuss on the issues in detail. A number of
Okay,
issues.
sir. Okay, sir. Okay. Very good. Very good.
Issues will be coming.
Very
So,
good. So many things will arrive because last 23 years I have already studied the various part of this. Now it is I have not less interest in this aspect. So I am ready to deliver lecture in this context. Okay, sir.
yeah.
I will already so many UGC curriculum, UGC guidelines, online system, online education, so many things. Recently, I have no interest, but from this webinar, I am already enlisted and I am ready to deliver any platform if invited. Thank you, sir. Through you.
Okay,
Thank
okay.
you, Bondali and Nivedita.
Thank you,
Act
Suborna.
as a co-speaker in this session. Okay. Best wishes to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Suborna. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Again,
Yes,
academic debate
Suborna,
was going on in another
Suborna,
platform.
are you leaving? Suborna, are you
Yes.
leaving?
Yes. Yes.
I think Ajay, there is a formal proposition of vote of thanks.
Okay.
Ajay,
Okay. 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 Okay.
I think you cannot move in that in your own way.
No. I like to debate. I like to start any debate, and that is better.
This is a part of the webinar. This is the part of the debate, and everybody can speak on their own way. You can't misinterpret, or you can interpret in your own way. I think when I am speaking to conclude my remarks, then you can't speak on your own way. I think you please wait a bit, and I think the next convener, who will propose the vote of thanks, I am handing over to them to their part. So please wait a bit. Now the webinar part is complete. And after that we will talk.
Oh, wait for thanks, sir.
Please, convener, madam or convener sir, please, and I am handing over my microphone to you.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon to everybody. Hope you have a wonderful session throughout the webinar. Now we are very close to end this webinar, and it is the time for vote of thanks. On behalf of Info-Lib Academia and Moyna College, and on my personal behalf, I convey my heartfelt thanks to Dr. Biplab Chakraborty sir for your complete involvement, not only conducting throughout this session, but right from beginning of the planning to conduct this webinar. It would have never been possible to execute the webinar without your kind support and expertise. I convey my thanks to Dr. Sangram Kumar Doloi, the Chief Patron of the Honorable GB President of Moyna College. He is a medical doctor and member of Legislative Assembly also. Though he did not make the program today due to his other assignment, but his support was enormous to happen this webinar success. My sincere thanks to Professor Kalipada Maiti, the patron of this webinar and teacher in charge of Moyna College, for his kind support for organizing today's webinar, and of course for the successful completion of the webinar. His valuable welcoming address was truly instrumental. We are also thankful to Dr. Muhammad Shariful Islam, Professor, Department of Information Science and Library Management, University of Rajshahi, for accepting our invitation as one of the speakers of his webinar. Sir, we are very much thankful for your informative and most imperative deliberation about the role of recommendation in teaching and learning. Hope to get more and more in the near future. I wish to express my sincere gratitude and thanks to Dr. Nivedita Bhattacharya Sahu, Assistant Professor, Department of Library and Information Science, Vidyasagar University. Madam, we are really pleased with your thought-provoking lecture about the role of librarian in this pandemic situation, which will surely benefit us and also to students about the impact of higher education. Next, we are very much thankful to Dr. Barnali Rai Chaudhary, Assistant Professor, Netaji Subhash Open University. We are really thankful for his powerful and impressive deliberation on open educational resources. I also convey my heartfelt thanks to Dr. Subarna Kumar Das, Professor, Department of Library and Information Science, Jadavpur University. We are already thankful for his valuable speech, and really we are enriched by his powerful discussion. I also convey my thanks to all participants, professional colleagues, academics members of Moyna College and also from other institutions and students who are continuously watching this webinar. I convey my sincere thanks to the joint conveners of this webinar, Dr. Supriya Malik, Librarian, Moyna College, Dr. Sheikh Abul Salam, Librarian of Shipur Dinobandhu Institution, and Mr. Mintu Haldar, Librarian, Bhairav Ganguly College, for providing their continuous effort throughout the beginning till end of the webinar edge of smooth conducting this webinar. Again, I want to convey my thanks to all of them. Thank you. Now, Mr. Mintu Haldar would conclude the session with few announcement. Please, sir.
Thank you, Professor Minmoy Kumar Mahato. I would like to thank our respected speaker for their valuable speech on the role of library in teaching and learning in higher education. I would provide my heartfelt thanks Professor Biplab Chakraborty, who is the chairman of Info-Lib Academia and the director of the webinar, for his constant support and encouragement to make this webinar a grand success. My sincere thanks go to our esteemed participant who have joined this webinar. We have an announcement that we have successfully completed 13 webinars in different topics. We have started our journey on 20 August 2020. Today, 29 September. In these 40 days, we have completed 13 webinars. This has been possible due to your active participation. We will be presenting you with webinar on various topics in the near future. We will give the opportunity to the participant to presentation papers on various topics, which will be useful for your class. This is our future plan. Participants are informed that you can download your certificate from moocs.infolibacademia.in. We are made our previous webinar certificate. We will receive or download all webinar certificates within 15 days. Thank you once again. With the permission of the chair, I conclude the session. Thank you.
Thank you.